What happens when two unstoppable forces collide, one fueled by pure rage, the other engineered for destruction? Today, we unravel the mythic clash of titans in a battle for the ages, Hulk versus Doomsday. Welcome to Myths and Mythologies, where legendary stories and epic battles come to life. Here we dive into the realms of gods, heroes, and the unstoppable forces that shape their destinies. If you're ready for action-packed tales, make sure to like, subscribe, and join us on this unforgettable journey. In the sprawling multiverse, each reality brims with heroes and villains whose powers defy imagination. Two of these realities, Earth 616 and Earth 0, stood apart as battlegrounds of some of the strongest beings ever known. But the events that led to the clash between Hulk and Doomsday began with a moment of scientific ambition and cosmic folly. On Earth 616, Reed Richards, the brilliant leader of the Fantastic Four, had been experimenting with dimensional energy to understand and harness the fabric of the multiverse. With the aid of Tony Stark, Richards had constructed a multiversal resonance engine, a device meant to stabilize interdimensional travel and open secure gateways for exploration. What they didn't realize, however, was that their device emitted a signal that resonated across dimensions. In Earth 0, far beyond the borders of Gotham and Metropolis, the signal reached Doomsday, the Kryptonian-engineered monster of destruction. Doomsday was drifting aimlessly through the void of space after his most recent encounter with Superman. Though immobilized, he remained conscious, his rage festering. The signal from Richard's device was like a beacon, stirring his destructive instincts and pulling him across the dimensional rift. When Doomsday crossed into Earth 616, chaos erupted. Emerging in the heart of New York City, he unleashed an unrelenting wave of devastation, leveling skyscrapers and leaving destruction in his wake. Heroes like Spider-Man, Luke Cage, and Jessica Jones were the first responders, but even their combined efforts barely slowed him. The news spread quickly. An unstoppable force was tearing through the city, and the Avengers were off-world, handling a crisis in the Kree-Skrull War. Meanwhile, Bruce Banner had been working in a Stark Industries lab in Manhattan, studying gamma radiation containment. His quiet afternoon was interrupted by the sound of explosions and the sight of plumes of smoke rising over the city. Despite his constant efforts to suppress the Hulk, the rage within him stirred as he saw the carnage. The turning point came when Doomsday smashed through a hospital, forcing Banner to act. He stepped outside, his trembling hands clenched into fists. As screams of terror filled the air, Banner muttered, "I tried to stay calm, but you've left me no choice." With a guttural roar, his transformation began. His muscles expanded, his skin turned green, and the Hulk emerged. The sight of Doomsday triggered an instinctive response in Hulk, a recognition of another being who thrived on brute strength and destruction. Doomsday...
Are you just watching?
Subscribe, please.
Meanwhile, sensed Hulk's overwhelming gamma energy and turned his attention toward him. To the Kryptonian monstrosity, Hulk was more than just another opponent. He was a challenge worth destroying. The two titans charged at each other, their collision shaking the ground and sending shockwaves through the city. For Hulk, this was a battle to protect the innocent and prove his strength. For Doomsday, it was another step in his endless path of annihilation. As the battle began, the city braced for the unimaginable. This was not just a fight between two beings. It was a clash of forces so unstoppable that even the multiverse itself seemed to tremble. The air was thick with tension as the Hulk and Doomsday charged at each other, the ground trembling under their sheer weight. Their collision was like the detonation of a bomb, the shockwave obliterating nearby cars and shattering windows for miles. Civilians scrambled to safety as the two titans began their relentless assault. Hulk struck first, his fists like wrecking balls crashing into Doomsday's armored body. The impact sent the monster staggering, but he quickly retaliated with a bone-spiked punch that carved a deep gash across Hulk's chest. Blood sprayed, but Hulk barely flinched. Instead, his fury surged, and with it, his strength. "Hulk will smash you," he roared, grabbing a chunk of the shattered pavement and slamming it into Doomsday's head. The Kryptonian behemoth stumbled but adapted, his spiked armor growing thicker to absorb the blows. He lunged at Hulk, tackling him through a row of buildings and sending debris cascading like an avalanche. The two emerged from the rubble, their battle escalating with every second. Hulk grabbed a bus and hurled it like a missile, but Doomsday batted it aside, leaping forward with claws outstretched. His jagged spikes tore into Hulk's arms, but the green behemoth responded by grabbing Doomsday by the neck and slamming him into the ground with enough force to create a crater. "Hulk, strongest there is!" he bellowed, raising both fists for a devastating strike. But Doomsday was far from finished. He caught Hulk's fists mid-air, his own strength matching the gamma-powered monster blow for blow. With a guttural snarl, Doomsday drove a spike into Hulk's shoulder, pinning him to the ground. Hulk howled in pain, his muscles bulging as he ripped the spike free and retaliated with a headbutt that cracked Doomsday's faceplate. The battle raged on, the two titans trading blows that could level mountains. Hulk's strength continued to grow with his anger, but Doomsday's ability to adapt made him an ever-evolving threat. When Hulk tried to crush Doomsday with a chunk of a fallen skyscraper, Doomsday countered by ripping the steel apart and using the shards as weapons, slicing deep into Hulk's skin. But Hulk's healing factor kept him in the fight. He roared with unrelenting fury, leaping high into the air and coming down with a seismic punch that sent shockwaves rippling through the ground. Doomsday was sent flying, crashing into the Hudson River with a massive splash. Hulk didn't wait for his opponent to recover. He dove into the river, his massive form parting the waters as he grabbed Doomsday and dragged him to the surface. The two emerged onto the shore, their bodies battered but their resolve unbroken. As the fight reached its climax, Hulk channeled all his rage into a single, devastating attack. With a thunderous roar, he delivered a punch so powerful it created a sonic boom, the impact shattering Doomsday's chestplate and sending the monster hurtling into the sky. Doomsday crashed into the ground miles away, motionless for the first time since the battle began. Hulk stood victorious, his chest heaving as the adrenaline began to fade. His body bore the scars of the battle, but his spirit remained unbroken. Slowly, he turned and let out a final roar, declaring his triumph to the heavens. For the moment, the battle was over. Hulk, the strongest there is, had proven his might against an unstoppable force. But deep within the rubble where Doomsday lay, a faint twitch suggested that the monster's story might not be over yet.